Hey everyone, let's talk about why you may want to replace the Lumetri Color Panel with Red Giant's Colorista 5. Adobe's Lumetri Color Panel was a welcomed addition to Premiere and After Effects a couple of years ago. They've steadily upgraded it, and since its launch, its feature set has grown. In fact, the most recent update expanded the Curves tab to include controls for Hue versus Sat, Sat versus Sat, Luma versus Sat, and so on. Red Giant released updates for several of their color grading apps just a couple of weeks ago, including Colorista 5, which now has Sat versus Sat and Luma versus Sat. So you may ask, why would I want to pay money for a plugin that just barely caught up with the Lumetri Color Panel? Well, first of all, there are a couple features in Colorista that are lacking in Lumetri, but it's actually what's under the hood that may compel you to take a look at it. Now, this is a small channel. I don't have sponsorships, and Red Giant isn't paying me to say any of this. This is my opinion, and I've been using Red Giant software for about a decade now, and they rarely disappoint. So first things first, dedicated color grading apps are going to yield much better results when applying color treatments to your footage. Here's an example. I've got one clip here of me vlogging, and I've duplicated it over here. I've applied Lumetri to the first clip, and I've applied Colorista to the second clip. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the edit. So this is the Lumetri Color Panel. I'm under the Color Wheels tab, and all I've done, I haven't touched any of these other tabs. The only thing I've done is shifted a little bit of coolness to the shadows. I shifted a little bit of blue to the shadows. I did the exact same thing in the Colorista clip. Okay, but let's just take a look at what Lumetri does. I'm going to turn this effect back on. I currently have it toggled off. The way three-wheel color correctors are supposed to work is you've got shadows, midtones, and highlights. But what Lumetri has done, in my just moving this cursor just away from the center just a little bit to cool off the shadows, it's affecting the whole image. It's washed over the entire image. My mask looks like it's this light blue. It's even affecting the ferns in the background. Now, what I'm going to do is let's go take a look at the duplicate with Colorista on it, which, by the way, if you want to skip from one media asset on your timeline to the next, just hit the down key, and immediately you see a difference. The blue in Colorista really is confined to the shadows, and I'll show you what that looks like here. Again, see, similar edit. Nothing else has changed. We've just got this shadows cooled off a little bit. But that's limited to basically my backpack, my mask. The ferns are not affected the way that they are in Lumetri. So let's go, again, take a look at the difference between the ferns. This is Lumetri, this is Colorista. Lumetri even has my hair kind of turning blue. Okay, my hair should not be in the shadows area of the shot. If you go back to the Colorista shot, this looks a little bit more natural. It's also affecting my skin. Okay, in Lumetri, go back to Colorista, my skin looks a lot more accurate, much more orange. The whole point of the color wheels is to separate the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. Now, don't get me wrong. In any color grading app, if you shift something to the shadows, or shift a certain color to shadows, it doesn't mean it's not going to bleed over into your midtones a little bit. They totally do. Moving something into the shadows shouldn't be affecting your highlights and coming over and affecting your skin too much. I remember before the days of Lumetri, we had the three-way color corrector in Premiere, and it would give you the same results. If you tried to push a little blue into the shadows, it would wash over the entire image, and it was also just a hue that's kind of fugly. Let's keep it real. Just the difference of blue between, take a look at the strap of my backpack. I'm going to switch over to Colorista really quick. You see that? It's a little bit more contrasty in Colorista. It just looks good. Take a look over here at Colorista where the skin has basically remained untouched. Which brings me to another feature that we've got in Magic Bullet Colorista that does not exist in Lumetri, and that is the skin overlay. So it's going to scroll down here a little bit. Just a little box that you tick on. And in doing that, what it's going to do is it's going to create this orange grid pattern over anything in the image that's orange. Again, remember, this is the skin line on the vector scope, and that's basically in between red and yellow, so it's orange. People are orange. And I know if you guys have watched some of my tutorials before, I know the term skin tones is kind of confusing. Skin tones is not talking about skin tones, meaning when colorists refer to skin tones, they're actually talking about skin color, meaning is there some sort of a color cast going on that's making the skin color look unnatural? People don't actually vary much in skin color. People are orange. Now, we vary in tone. Some people have light skin, some people have darker skin. But generally speaking, if you have a group of people in your shot, all varying ethnicities, and you start editing the color orange, meaning how saturated it is or how bright it is, you're going to affect everyone in the image. So this is a helpful tool because if there was a color cast going on in this shot, my face actually wouldn't have this orange grid on it and I would know something is wrong, and then I could color correct accordingly. Now, as mentioned before, the most recent update to Lumetri included all kinds of cool stuff under the curves tab right here. So I'm going to click on this and show you everything that they've added. In addition to the regular curves, we've now got hue versus sat, hue versus hue, hue versus luma, and then the ones that I found particularly useful is luma versus sat. Basically, how saturated are your shadows, your midtones, and your highlights. This is a tool that didn't previously exist in Colorista. So even though the color science and everything that's going on under the hood is much better with Colorista and all of Red Giant's color grading apps for that matter, I would use those tools, color correct my footage, apply my color treatment, but I still found myself coming back to Lumetri just for this tool right here, where I could take the shadows and desaturate them a little bit by applying a curve. That is a very common edit for a colorist to do, especially when you start doing some pretty intense, heavy grading. You get to the point where the shadows are varying colors or the highlights are different colors that just don't look natural. And you can push your grade pretty far if you can't kind of keep in the back of the mind that skin looks like skin, shadows look like shadows, or not weird colors going on in the shadows. But now that that exists over here in Magic Bullet Colorista, with the Sat by Luminance sliders right here, the only thing that's different is this kind of works more like an EQ. In fact, if I kind of roll this off this way, and that gives you a similar desaturating of the shadows. I'm going to reset Magic Bullet Colorista real quick. What I want to do, I don't want to go through every single feature. I think it's just going to be easier to say that Colorista 5 basically has everything that the Lumetri Color Panel has, with just a couple of extra small features like the skin overlay I just showed you. But this one is also cool if you're new to color correction and color grading. It's called a guided color correction. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to ask me, first things first, what kind of video is this? Did you shoot this in log? I have no idea. Is it flat video or just video coming straight out of your phone or something? Now, I used this particular shot was shot with the DJI Osmo Pocket, which does have a flat picture profile, so I'm going to go ahead and select flat. Continue. Black levels. So it basically wants me to adjust with this slider where I think the black levels should be. And I don't know if you can see this, but there is a vertical line right here. This is basically what Colorista is suggesting. In other words, it's suggesting that you put this little dot right above there. Okay, set our black levels. Same thing with the white levels. It's highlighting in red right here, showing me that I've got some blown highlights in the back, which is understandable. This is where it's suggesting. Let's see what happens when we move that over. Now I can also try to drag this until I get rid of those blown highlights. Call it good there. And midtones. Now this is basically using a histogram view, and rule of thumb is you do kind of want this mountain right here to be more in the middle of the histogram. Not always true if you're for stylistic purposes, but we can just slide this over and get a little bit more of a centered mountain there. Contrast. Now this is basically saying, okay, your contrast is kind of intense. It's actually wanting me to decrease contrast here. Now saturation, this is what's kind of cool about this, is it starts off with grayscale. They suck all of the saturation out of your image and they ask you to just gradually bring it in until it looks good to you. Now, my eyes, right now, this is already starting to look a little bit intense. In fact, if you look at the vector scope, things are getting crazy. But it's suggesting that we crank it up all the way over to here. Let's see what happens. This looks stupid. So I'm going to pull this down to what I think looks more reasonable, right about there. We'll move on. Now, color balance, I can choose something that is neutral gray with the eyedropper. I'm going to actually try my mask and see if that works. Let's see. And that gave me a bit of a warm feel to this. It's a little warmer than I remember that being there. This is Fern Canyon, by the way, in Redwoods National Park, so it's a very contrasty kind of a scene. Pull this back a little bit. Let's see. And just looking at my skin color, making sure things don't look too crazy. This, by the way, this basically color codes what certain things are in your image. So basically what this is saying is my backpack strapped to my camera, part of my mask, are technically blue, even if that's kind of hard to see by just glancing over at this. It's saying that all of the ferns and stuff in the background are very much green. It's saying this edge of my ear right here is actually registering as red. And of course my shirt is red. A bit of my nose is looking red. And then everything that's skin color is skin. So basically most of my face looks color accurate in terms of, skin. So I'll move on from here as a basic correction. And I say that's it. You're finished. So close that. And now I've got my jumping off point. Okay, I've got everything color corrected. Everything looks pretty color accurate in terms of contrast and saturation. I'm not exceeding anything in my vector scope right here. So this is a good start. So what do you guys think? What are you grading your footage with? Red Giant certainly isn't the only game in town in terms of third-party plugins. The ones I've seen, DaVinci Resolve, Cinema Grade, they produce far better looking results, but they do cost money. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.